My wife said our anniversary dinner would be a surprise. The surprise? Another man at the table, her new partner. I simply said, lovely. I paid for my meal, walked out, and filed for divorce the next day. Now she's frantically calling, but she's already blocked. I thought I knew what surprises were in a marriage. The unexpected weekend getaway. The gift you mentioned once 6 months ago that they somehow remembered. The breakfast in bed on a random Tuesday. After 8 years of marriage, I thought I'd seen it all. I was wrong. Our anniversary was coming up. 8 years together, 5 of them married. We've been having some issues lately. Nothing major, I thought. Just the usual stuff that happens when two people share a life. Work stress, disagreements about visiting the in-laws, debates about when to start a family. Normal things that normal couples work through. At least that's what I believed. I've got something special planned for our anniversary, she told me 2 weeks before the date. Her eyes had that sparkle I'd fallen in love with years ago. Just dress nice and meet me at Bellini's at 7. It's going to be a surprise. Bellini's was where we had our first date. It's not the fanciest place in town, but it's our place. I was touched she'd chosen it. I even bought a new shirt for the occasion and got a haircut the day before. When the day arrived, I was genuinely excited. Maybe this dinner would help us reconnect. Maybe the spark would reignite. I arrived at 6:55, told the hostess I was meeting my wife, and was led to a table in the back. She was already there. So was someone else. A man I'd never seen before sat beside her, his hand casually resting on hers on the tabletop. They were laughing about something when I approached. Both looked up, and I saw a flash of what? Nervousness? Defiance? Cross her face. You're right on time, she said, her voice steady but higher than normal. I want you to meet someone. The man stood and extended his hand. He was taller than me, dressed in a blazer that probably cost more than my entire outfit. Nice to finally meet you, he said, as if we were old acquaintances who'd simply never crossed paths. I didn't take his hand. I just stood there, the pieces falling into place with sickening clarity. This is my new partner, she said. Just like that. As if she were introducing a new colleague from work. We've been seeing each other for a few months now, and I thought it was time you two met. The restaurant noise faded away. All I could hear was the blood rushing in my ears. I know this is unconventional, she continued, but I thought we could discuss how to move forward civilly. We're all adults here. The man nodded, looking at me with what seemed like pity. She speaks very highly of you, he offered, as if that would somehow make this better. I remember looking at the table. It was set for 3. 3 glasses of water. 3 sets of silverware. 3 menus. She had planned this. Our anniversary dinner, the surprise, was my replacement. I could have shouted. I could have made a scene. I could have punched him. But something inside me went very cold and very calm. Lovely, I said. Just that one word. I sat down. They exchanged glances. This clearly wasn't the reaction they'd expected. The waiter came. They ordered appetizers to share. I ordered a steak, medium rare, and a glass of whiskey. We made stilted conversation. She explained how they'd met at her yoga studio, how they'd started as friends, how one thing led to another, how she hadn't meant for it to happen, but sometimes the heart wants what it wants. He talked about his investment firm, about his condo downtown, about how mature she was being about the whole situation. I ate my steak. I drank my whiskey. I didn't taste either. When the bill came, I paid for my portion. Not theirs, just mine. I calculated the exact amount, including tax and tip for my share. I hope we can be friends eventually, she said as I stood to leave. I never wanted to hurt you. I looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time since I'd arrived. This woman I'd shared a bed with for 8 years. This woman I'd planned a future with. Goodbye, I said. That was all. I walked out of Bellini's at 8:43 p.m. By 8:47, I had called my best friend. By 9:30, I was at his apartment with a duffel bag of essentials. By midnight, I had blocked her number, her email, and all her social media. The next morning, I called in sick to work. By 10 a.m., I was sitting in a divorce attorney's office. By noon, the papers were being drawn up. By 3 p.m., I had opened a new bank account and transferred my portion of our savings. By 5 p.m., I had changed all my passwords and contacted a realtor about selling our house. She started calling my parents that evening when she realized I'd blocked her. She called my workplace the next day. She sent mutual friends to check on me. She even showed up at my friend's apartment, but he didn't let her in. It's been 2 weeks now. The divorce papers have been served. She's left tearful messages with anyone who will listen, claiming she made a terrible mistake, that it was just a physical thing, that she wants to work it out. But some bells can't be unrung. I've rented a small apartment across town. I go to work. I come home. I sleep. I'm not angry anymore. At least, not in the explosive way I was those first few days. Now it's just a cold, hard certainty that I'm doing the right thing. Our friends have taken sides, as friends do. Some think I should hear her out. Everyone makes mistakes. They say. Others understand that some betrayals cut too deep for second chances. Her new partner seems to have vanished from the picture. I don't know if he bailed when things got messy or if she ended it to try to win me back. I don't care either way. Yesterday, I ran into her sister at the grocery store. She started to say something, but I just shook my head and walked away. There's nothing to say, nothing to explain, nothing to justify. Some people think I'm being cold. Maybe I am, but I'd rather be cold than be a fool twice. The divorce will be final in a few months. The house is already on the market. I've started looking at jobs in other cities. A fresh start sounds good right now. I don't know what she expected that night at Bellini's. Did she think I'd agree to some kind of open arrangement? Did she think I'd fight for her? Did she think I'd break down and beg her to reconsider? Whatever she thought, I doubt she expected lovely and a calm exit. That's the thing about surprises. They work both ways. Update 1. It's been 3 months since the anniversary dinner. The divorce proceedings are moving forward, though not as quickly as I'd hoped. She's contesting everything now, dragging her feet on signing papers, disputing asset divisions we'd previously agreed on. Her lawyer sends lengthy emails about hasty decisions and reconciliation possibilities. My lawyer responds with brief, factual rebuttals. I've settled into my new apartment. It's smaller than our house, obviously, but it's mine. No memories here. No ghosts. I bought all new furniture, nothing from our shared life. Some might call it running away. I call it self-preservation. Work has been a sanctuary. I've thrown myself into projects, stayed late, come in early. My boss noticed and offered me a promotion, a position that would require relocating to the Denver office. I'm seriously considering it. The mutual friend's situation has stabilized. Some I've lost completely. They were always more her friends anyway. Others have maintained a careful neutrality, inviting us to separate events, never mentioning one to the other. A few have firmly planted themselves in my corner, and their loyalty means more than they know. She's changed tactics recently. After the initial barrage of messages and attempts to contact me, she went quiet for a few weeks. Then the gifts started arriving at my office. Books I'd mentioned wanting to read. A watch similar to one I'd admired months ago. Even tickets to a concert I'd expressed interest in. I donated the books to the library. I returned the watch to the store and gave the refund to charity. I gave the concert tickets to a coworker. Then came the letter. Handwritten, 10 pages long, delivered by courier to my workplace. I read the first paragraph. I know I've destroyed everything we built together. I know I hurt you in ways that can never be fully healed. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But before you close the door on us forever, I'm asking you to meet me one last time. Just to talk. Just for closure. I didn't read the rest. I shredded it and went back to work. My parents have been surprisingly supportive. They loved her. She was the daughter they never had. But they haven't pressured me to reconcile. You have to live your life for you, my father said during our weekly call. Not for her. Not for us. Not for anyone else. Last week, I ran into her at the coffee shop near my old office. I'd stopped going there specifically to avoid such encounters, but I was meeting a client nearby and took the chance. She was alone at a table, staring into a mug of something that had long gone cold. She looked up as I walked in. Our eyes met. For a moment, I felt that old pull, the gravity that had kept us in orbit around each other for 8 years. Then I remembered sitting at that table at Bellini's, watching her hold another man's hand, and the feeling vanished. I nodded once, a bare acknowledgement of her existence, and ordered my coffee to go. As I waited for my order, I felt her approach before I saw her. You look good, she said quietly. I turned. She didn't look good. She'd lost weight. Her eyes had dark circles beneath them. Her hair, usually perfectly styled, was pulled back in a messy ponytail. Thank you, I replied, keeping my voice neutral. I miss you, she said, her voice catching. Every day I miss you. The barista called my name. I took my coffee. I have to go, I said. Please, she whispered. Just 5 minutes. I looked at her. This woman I'd once thought I'd grow old with. This woman who had planned and executed my humiliation on what should have been a celebration of our love. I have nothing to say to you, I told her and walked out. That night, I accepted the Denver position. Sometimes the universe sends signs, and I'm not one to ignore them. I haven't told her about the move yet. She'll find out through the divorce proceedings or through the grapevine. It doesn't matter. By the time the papers are finalized, I'll be gone. Some people have called me heartless for not giving her a chance to explain. But what is there to explain? She didn't have a one-night stand in a moment of weakness. She didn't kiss someone at an office party after too many drinks. She cultivated a relationship with another man for months. She brought him to our anniversary dinner. She planned it all. Actions have consequences. Choices have costs. I'm not punishing her. I'm protecting myself. The house sold last week, above asking price. Once the divorce is final, she'll get her share of the proceeds. I'll get mine. We'll divide our lives as clinically as possible, and then we'll go our separate ways. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd reacted differently that night. If I'd shouted or cried or begged, would it have changed anything? Would we be in counseling now, trying to rebuild? Or would we have just prolonged the inevitable? I'll never know. And honestly, I don't want to. Update 2. It's been 8 months since Bellini's. I've been in Denver for just over 3 months now. The mountains here have a way of putting things in perspective. My problems seem smaller against their ancient, towering presence. The divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago. No more legal ties. No more paperwork. No more back and forth between attorneys. It's done. I didn't attend the final hearing. My lawyer handled everything. She was there, apparently. My lawyer said she cried when the judge made it official. I felt nothing when I heard this. Not satisfaction, not pain, not even relief. Just nothing. The Denver job has been good for me. New challenges, new colleagues, new routines. I've joined a hiking group that meets on weekends. I've started taking cooking classes, something I'd always wanted to do but never made time for during my marriage. I'm not dating yet, but I'm not opposed to the idea. When it happens, it happens. I thought moving across the country would be running away, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like running towards something, a future I get to shape on my own terms. Last month, I got a package forwarded from my old address. Inside was a small wooden box I recognized immediately, a handcrafted jewelry box I'd given her on our first anniversary. Inside was her wedding ring and a note that simply said, "I'm sorry. Be happy." I sold the ring and donated the money to a shelter for victims of domestic abuse. Not because I consider myself a victim. I don't. But because it felt right to transform something broken into something helpful. I haven't heard from her directly since that day at the coffee shop. Our communication has been exclusively through lawyers. But mutual friends report that she's moved to her sister's city, found a new job, started therapy. Good for her. Sincerely. Sometimes, late at night, I still wake up reaching for someone who isn't there. Habit is a powerful thing, but those moments are becoming less frequent. I've been seeing a therapist too. Not because I'm falling apart. I'm not. But because I want to understand why I didn't see the signs. How I could have been so blind. How I can make sure it never happens again. Trust isn't the absence of doubt, my therapist told me recently. It's the willingness to be vulnerable despite it. You'll trust again when you're ready. And if you're never ready, that's okay too. Last week, I received an email from her. The first direct contact in months. It had made it through my filters somehow. The subject line was simply "thank you." The body of the email was brief. I've been in therapy for 6 months now. My therapist suggested I make amends where possible, but I know you don't want to hear from me. So I'll just say this. Thank you for the dignity with which you handled everything. I didn't deserve it. I'm working on becoming someone who would. Not for you. That ship has sailed, but for myself. I hope Denver is everything you hoped it would be. I didn't respond. There was nothing to say, but I didn't delete the email either. Yesterday, I climbed my first 14er, a mountain over 14,000 feet. The guide said most first-timers don't make it to the summit, but I was determined. The last 1,000 feet were brutal. My lungs burned. My legs trembled. Several times, I thought about turning back, but I kept going, one step at a time. And when I reached the top, when I stood above the clouds and looked out at the endless horizon, I felt something shift inside me. A weight lifting, a door closing, a new door opening. I took a photo of the view and almost sent it to her. Old habits. Instead, I posted it to my social media with the caption, "New heights, new perspectives." Within minutes, my phone buzzed with likes and comments from friends and family. Support and encouragement from my new hiking group. A text from my mom saying how proud she was. Life goes on. Not the life I planned, but maybe the life I needed. I don't hate her anymore. I don't love her either. She's becoming a story I tell myself about a different time, a different me. The anniversary dinner surprise was cruel. The way she chose to end things was unforgivable. But in a strange way, I'm grateful. It forced me to rebuild myself from the ground up. To figure out who I am when I'm not half of a we. Turns out, I'm doing okay on my own. Better than okay. I'm finally thriving.